Hi, I'm Ari A, and today I'm going to be reading a Remus Lupin one-shot, because there's like nothing about young Remus Lupin on YouTube. I'm like, okay. So this is my first video. It wasn't supposed to be my first video. I actually had another video for Tonks, but then I realized my mic was muted and I couldn't find the one-shot after that, so we don't talk about it. And if you hear music in the background, sorry, please don't copyright me. You're probably just gonna hear Corpse a lot because, yeah, he makes good songs. So, here's the video. By the way, YN means your name, LN means last name. Wait, no, there's not gonna be a last name on this one because you're James' sister. But, if you need anything else, I will tell you. Like, HL means hair length. I don't know if anything else because I haven't read this. Sorry about my rambling. Let's get started. Okay. Your POV. James! You yelled at your annoying twin brother. Can you please give it back? Your brother just snatched the book from you and made you lose your page. Come play with our son. He crossed his arms. You always read YN. Like Mooney, it's no fun. You blushed when your brother mentioned Mooney. Well, maybe because I don't want to hang out with you four. You glared at him. You were used to arguing with him, as you two did it often. Well, you are Marauder, aren't you? Come on, Evans will be here soon, and I promised her that you'd be here. To keep her sane, you snorted. You leave me no choice, dear sister. I'm going to Remus now and tell him that you fancy him. He sighed, looking down. He walked out the common room, hiding his smirk. I don't like him, you called while catching up with him. How long is that going to take to get in your head? And knocked on his head. I mean, it is quite hollow in there, he joked. Oh, shut it, he replied. You watched your brother straighten his tie and smooth out his shirt. Yes, skirt. James in a skirt. The two of you walked towards the Black Lake. You really do like her, don't you, Evans? You asked. I don't like her. I love her, he replied, his eyes shining. To the moon and back. James was always the outgoing one of you two. You were really happy for your brother since Evans finally agreed to date him. Sure, it took him 5 years, but at least they got a stable and loving relationship. However, you and Remus, on the other hand, everyone's been saying that he liked you, too. He liked you, too. He liked you, too. And you liked him. I'm sorry. This is confusing. Basically, it's just saying that he likes you. Everyone's telling you that he likes you and that you like him. You did like him, you really did, but he treats you like a sister. You don't even know if there's a word for it, but you've been seriously sister-zoned. Hey James, can I ask you something? He asked quietly. Of course, what's wrong, Ryan? He replied, his eyes scanning your face. Despite your many fights, the two of you cared for each other and loved one another. Well, I don't know how to say this, but how do you get your crush to like you back? You were embarrassed for asking your brother for relationship advice. You've got to be yourself, and they like you for who you are. James, that's rich coming from you. They would fall in love with the real you, and there. So, who's the lucky boy for my sister? He sang curious. No one, you said quickly. We've never had this conversation. My little sister embarrassed her asking her big bro relationship advice. No way, James teased. Stop rubbing that in, James. I'm only younger by 15 minutes. One more word about our conversation and consider me coming and putting good words for you to Evans. Done, he said annoyed. Got it. He pierced his lips together and did a zipping action. time skip. You sat in potions, drumming your fingers on the table. This class was so boring, you thought. You twirled the quill in your hand and stared at the clock, waiting for class to be over. You were fed up with James and Sirius. They were sitting behind you with Remus and Peter. They kept sniggering about something, whispering things to Remus. You even heard your name a couple of times. Mr. Lupin, Professor Slughorn bellowed. You too, Mr. Potter and Mr. Black. The three of them snapped their heads in Professor Slughorn's direction, paying attention. I don't know what you three boys are doing, but stop staring. But stop chuckling like girls and staring at the back of Miss Potter's head, unless there's something you'd like to share with the class, Professor Slughorn said angrily. Your face flushed as many students turned to stare at you. Were they really staring at you? What for? You turned around to see Sirius and James laughing silently, and Remus's face turned red. To make the situation worse than it already is, James stood up. Actually, sir, I would like to share something with the class, James said out loud bravely. He wasn't in Gryffindor for nothing. Well, go ahead, I suppose. Professor Slughorn was taken back by James' response. I would like to say that Remus John Lupin is in love with my sister and would like to date her, James declared. Professor Slughorn began to say something, but his voice quickly drowned by wolf whistles. You turned around to glare at your brother, sending daggers. What was that, James? You hissed. In the corner of your eye, you saw Remus flashing bright red in a void in your eye. I don't know. Ask him. I love how he did the action instead of saying it. He shrugged. I don't know. Ask him. He pointed at Remus. That's enough now, Prong. Stop embarrassing your sister and I, Remus said, pulling James down to the seat. Detention, Mr. Potter, Professor Slughorn announced. It was worth it, you heard your brother whisper, not so quietly to his friends. Finally got the truth out. Did you see Ryan's face, Remus? I would do anything to see it again. The truth? Did Remus really like you back? You brushed his thoughts from your mind. It was your brother that you were talking about, the mischievous daredevil of the year. Time skip. You were about to go inside the Gryffindor common room when you heard hushed whispers coming from it. You recognized the voice immediately. It belonged to the person whom you fell in love with. Not on purpose, you caught the words like love her, ask out, scared. You looked around to see that there wasn't anyone else nearby. Then you pressed your fingers to your lips so the fat lady would be quiet. You pressed your ear on the Gryffindor common room. You just really want to see if what your brother said today was hopefully true. I really love her, Padfoot. What should I do? I don't think she'll ever have the feelings back, though, Remus grunted. I'm 99% sure that she also likes you, Mooney. The way that she looks at you, acts around you, and how her cheeks go pink when people mention you to her. You can even ask Prongs when he gets back. Really? Remus asked excitedly. You've liked her for about 4 years now. I think it's about time you know, going for the... That's when you can't hear anymore because you hastily pulled back by someone. They covered your mouth and started dragging you. You struggled under the grip, whoever was holding you strong. Under panic, you bit the person's hand, which resulted in both of you screaming very loudly. Them in pain and you in fear. All the students of the corridor stared at you. Every Gryffindor from the common room came to see what caused the havoc. Remus, Sirius, and Peter came out at first and gave you and your kidnappers weird looks and sneering glances. At this point, you stopped screaming. You whipped around and saw the mysterious person. They stumbled back and hit the wall. Their hand was holding their cheek. And then you were astonished to see when you saw who it was. It was your brother, James Potter. I love this. Gasps and murmurs filled the corridor. Please leave, everyone. Sorry to cause trouble. My sister and I just had some misunderstanding. That's all. James said calmly. Everyone gave confused looks, but slowly people started to leave. The corridor ended up being empty apart from you, James, Remus, Peter, and Sirius. What was that about? Remus asked, confused. Well, James chuckled while scratching the back of his neck. Should I tell the whole story, Ryan? You nodded, although you didn't want Remus to find out that you were eavesdropping on their conversation. Well, on the way past the common room, I saw my sister pressed against the fat lady portrait and decided to go see what was going on. It turned out she was eavesdropping, James explained while you looked down at the floor ashamed. Then I pulled her away because I realized she threw her in there. I tried to cover her mouth so she wouldn't scream. However, she ended up biting me. James laughed, showing his friends the marks. Feisty much, Ryan? I'm really sorry, Remus, Sirius, and Peter. I shouldn't have listened to your conversation. It was your secrets, and I was being nosy. I understand if we don't want to be friends anymore. Why did someone that? Sorry, that's really cheesy. You apologized? It's okay, Ryan. Don't be ridiculous. Of course we want to be friends. We don't want an argument over such a silly thing. Remus, Sirius, and the rats said in unison. But Remus, you said. I was going to tell you anyways, he chuckled. Remus looked back to the others and gave them a look. They all left, giving you and Remus time together. So, how much did you hear? Remus asked, raising an eyebrow. Enough, he replied, still feeling ashamed. So, you know everything about my feelings, he asked. Yes, about a girl. I understand if you don't want to tell me. Do you know who the girl is? You shook your head. It's you, he said while cupping your face. May I? You nodded your head and closed your eyes. Then you moved in closer to Remus. He also moved in closer. You opened your eyes to see him hover a little above you. Just pretend he's taller, okay? We don't know how tall he is, but he's pretty tall. Your nose is touching. He leaned in and kissed you with passion. You could feel sparks exploding in your stomach. This was the day you were waiting for. The two of you kissed for what seemed like forever until your obnoxious brother fake coughed loudly, making Remus and you jump back. Both of you were panting and blushing fiercely. Sorry, I didn't want innocent students to get their eyes ruined. It would be much preferred if you two could get a room, James joked. So, yeah, that was the young Remus one shot. The one shot was, the story on Wattpad. It's called Harry Potter One Shots by Slytherin Fun, with the, P-H-A-N, so Slytherin, P-H-A-N. Yeah, so that was it. Thank you for watching this video / listening, and yeah, Ari A out.